The purpose of this study was to see if art students can solve a jigsaw puzzle faster than non-art students. We used stratified random sampling as our method to select participants. The population of Centennial High School was organized into 4 strata: freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. 3 art students and 3 non-art students were selected from each class, thus giving us a sample size of 24 students. To prevent response bias, we didn't time students who were the same age as us. The juniors of our group, Sandem and Tiffany, timed the sophomores and seniors, while the seniors of our group, Christina and Elarissa, timed the freshmen and juniors. The puzzle pieces were numbered from 1 to 25 to ensure that they were mixed up exactly the same for every student. The mixed-up puzzle pieces were covered by a box, and the reference picture was hidden until it was time to begin. The timing of the students' puzzle solving began as soon as the box was lifted and stopped when the last piece was placed. The times were then recorded, and the average was calculated for each student.
After the data was collected, we found the mean by adding up the minutes and seconds of the 2 times and dividing it by 2. After finding the mean of every student, we found the p-value that would determine whether or not there is a significant difference between the results of the art and non-art students. To find this value, we input the data of each group into each list on our calculator by pressing Stat Edit. List 1 contained all of the times of the art students, while List 2 contained the times of the non-art students. Next, we pressed Stats, went to the Test category, and selected the 2 sample t-tests. This computed the p-value that helped suggest a significant difference between art and non-art students.
After calculating the average time for every class, this data was then put into bar graphs. This first graph, we set the categories to be classes and the bars be the art and non-art students' average times. In this graph, we could see that non-art students for every class had a longer average time than those students who are in art. In this second graph, we set the categories to be the art and non-art students and the bars be the classes. We've noticed that the average times for the art students in the different classes have slowly dropped from freshmen to seniors, with the exception of juniors having a slightly higher average time than sophomores. That same event happened to the non-art students of the different classes. The average times have dropped from freshmen to seniors, however the seniors had a slightly higher average time than juniors. In this last graph, we compared the average time for all the art students in the study and the average time for all the non-art students in the study. This graph presents that non-art students had a 3 minutes and 24.6 second longer average time than art students. All of these graphs conclude that in this study, art students had a shorter average time in completing a 25-piece jigsaw puzzle than non-art students.
There were clear outliers within the data we collected. One time out of the 3 non-art seniors we observed was over 10 minutes. Compared to the other 2 times, this was a clear outlier because the other 2 took under 3 minutes in order to complete the puzzle. In addition, the 3 non-art freshmen observed all used up over 9 minutes to complete the puzzle. This was an influential factor to our conclusion. Our study suggests that there is a relationship between art students and non-art students. The p-value we calculated of 0.2% is less than 5%, the standard p-value, thus suggesting that there is a significant difference between the 2 groups when it comes to solving a simple jigsaw puzzle. Therefore, this value cannot reject our null hypothesis. If we were to do this again, we would take a larger sample in order to get closer to its true value. We would also try this study with a larger puzzle with more pieces, because our puzzle may have been too simple for some of the non-art students.
The end.